Welcome back, and a strong win there from Order. And Rusty, a bit of a slower pace we were seeing from Order as well.
Yeah, but pretty calm and measured from them right at the same time. They gave away a couple of early Drakes because AV were focusing on them super hard. They picked their battles and their timings very well. And, once they started to get those teamfight wins, it still sped up. It just took a little while for them to really pull the first trigger and say, this is the fight we want.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's dictated by Avant, right? Avant, we've kind of said, is like the most LPLX team. They take Volibear, Talia, as well as a Callista, like in first 3 draft, I think. Like, no one can play early game versus that. Like, if you're going to fight the first 2 Drakes, you're just going to lose the game. So, well done to Order to adapt their draft. They went double tier users as well, so they needed to slow the pace down. Still 25-minute win, but I think a very different victory than what we saw in their first game of the day.
Absolutely. And Order's biggest competition at the moment, of course, PGG, who are snapping at their heels as we are all trying to climb that ladder to get into the best position for the playoffs. And we've got Pete from Pentanet.gg back on the line. Pete, you're there. Look how incredible this internet connection is. And I feel like you've had a haircut between now and then as well.
I've tied it up a little bit, so just to get it out of the face, just showing you all the different sides of what's going on tonight, guys. But yeah, here we are.
Well, Pentanet have certainly showed a different side of themselves. This split, obviously, last split was there's a lot of excitement around the guys, and not the ending that you were looking for them. But at the beginning of this split, the guys were talking about how they feel like they'd reinvigorated, they found a new focus. What was it that sort of like gelled the team to see such a strong look like run towards the finish now?
Yeah, look, I think we got around and we sat with each other and we spoke open and honestly about some of the things that sort of made us tip towards the end of last split. The guys didn't want that again, and they put in a lot of work. But it also has to be said that we made a change. We win, and we absolutely love Sully, and he's done a great job. He's still with the organisation, but of course the inclusion of Pabu and the confidence and the aggression that he brings in. There's a huge difference. Sully was 20-odd games in. Pabu's got 140-odd games under his belt. So there's a big difference in terms of experience. And I think adding that into the roster, amongst all the other experience that's already there, has certainly gone towards what we're achieving and what we're seeing now.
And talk to me kind of about your season, because it has felt like this one's been on the slow burn, but a lot of consistency there. Has that been Western Way behind the scenes, just driving the boys at a steady pace? Because you guys haven't really had the same peaks and troughs as we maybe would have seen from a couple of the other lineups within the OPL.
Yeah, I think the thing that we were really aiming for was consistency. Western Way has been absolutely fantastic in terms of making sure that, the boys are doing all of that hard work with their scrims during the week. It's been a really huge focus during the week as well. And obviously, as tough as Split 1 was, it gave us a lot in terms of, experience and what not to do leading into this split, and a lot of key points for them to work on in the off season, and of course throughout the entire season as well. So he's an absolute gun. He brings so much to the team, and we couldn't be happy with his performance this split as well.
And you guys are 1-1 versus Legacy. They picked up the first one. You guys bounced back, pick up the second one. You're about to have the all-important decider right now. What's changed, mate? Why are you gonna beat Legacy today?
Geez, I don't know if I can't honestly say that we will. It's been one of those splits. If we look at the way Mammoth has performed, for example, towards the end of the split, anybody on their day has been good enough to just about beat anybody else. So I think that it's not so much of a case of whether we'll win or not, but the fact of the matter is I'd love for us to pick up the win tonight, because they are, arguably the best team in the OPL. They're obviously the defending champions as well. So to be able to lift the trophy at the end of the split, we need to beat the best. So if we can knock them over tonight, I think it's going to be some amazing momentum for the boys leading into finals.
And you guys obviously coveting that third place spot. You're not going to be able to catch Legacy or Order, but if you keep winning a couple of games this weekend, you will be able to be put into that upper bracket. Have the guys talked to you about the importance of the upper bracket? We talk about it all the time in the OPL, but no one's really ever won from a lower bracket run until Mammoth last year, and they're the most stacked team I think I've ever seen. What are your thoughts of that upper bracket importance coming into the playoffs?
Yeah, look, obviously, the double chance is very exciting. It's something that will be really nice to lock away. But, at the end of the day, regardless of the upper bracket or the lower bracket, you just have to be good enough to beat anybody to lift the trophy at the end of the split. So as far as I'm concerned, and I know the boys are the same, it doesn't matter whether or not we're in the upper bracket or the lower bracket. The goal still remains the same. Get through absolutely every game with a win. And you mentioned we can't catch Legacy or Order now, but I don't know. We'll give it a fair old crack when we come up against you next week.
Pete, some bloody dickhead just dabbed behind you, and that's actually a trademark for Baghead. And that is, when I see you, we're not having any of that, okay? Get out. That is a registered trademark of Spawn or Baghead that we saw earlier in the show. But look, it's a fantastic turnout that you've got there at the facility as well. And I saw some pictures that you tweeted out earlier as well. It's a great group of people, a very diverse age range as well, which I was impressed with. You've got a lot of old people there, which I just feel like, as someone who is nearing old person status, represent. We're just really thrilled for you guys and everything you got going on there.
They look like some great PCs. Pete, can you just give us a close-up of one of the PCs there? Because they look like some fine pieces of equipment.
Yeah, they are very fine pieces of equipment. They're Alienwares, so they're very nice pieces of
beautiful,
equipment.
Mate. Here it goes.
I don't know if you guys have any sort of affiliation with them or anything like that, but yeah.
You just got used so hard.
Don't worry, mate. Order will send the check in the mail. That was free AF.
That's okay, mate. We'll make you pay for it next week. Don't worry about that.
Before we jump into the final game, Rusty, obviously we hang out with the GM all the time with Spawn, but he holds his cards very close to his chest. Is there anything that you want Pete to spill?
Yeah, I just wanted to know for yourself, Pete, how actively involved you are with the players in the league roster, because you do seem like one of the most publicly involved GMs out there. You're always posting, and you had a lot of good things to say. So, how much do you do with the players themselves?
Look, the honest to God truth of that is not very much. I keep in touch with the team as much as I possibly can. Obviously keep tabs of what's going on, and I'm there cheering them on as a fan every single weekend. But, when it comes to actually playing and knowing a lot about the game, I very much am still learning. So, for me, my role in the organisation was more to make sure that we've got the right roster and we've got the right people around that roster who know the game. And they're doing a very good job of that. And then my job is to make sure that, everything else around them is supporting them incredibly well so they can do the jobs to the best of their ability as well. And then, of course, be able to host amazing opportunities like this and do everything that we can on this side of the country to make sure that Western Australia knows that esports and the OPL exists.
Beautiful, mate. Well, I say this with the full knowledge of who else is on this call, but you are my favorite GM within the OPL. So keep it going. Thanks, and good luck tonight. I hope you take out the win. Pete's also a good follow on social media, so check him out. And with everyone except for the person who dabbed behind you, I hope you all have a fantastic night and enjoy the facilities there. And hopefully you guys get the win as well. So thanks very much for the talk, mate.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having us. Thanks for letting us patch in. And again, thanks to Murdoch Esports Hub here at the university for hosting us tonight. And go PG. We're on our way to the finals. First time in Western Australian history. It's a bloody ripper. Come on, you guys!
Beautiful. Thanks, mate. That is a very excited crowd.
Oh. I'm actually so jealous. Like, as a Melburnian currently in stage 4, like, I am so incredibly jealous. Like, I cannot wait. WA, I actually have really fond memories of WA. I came, second in an Australian Championship in Taekwondo over there. I busted my foot up and I couldn't fly back straight away, so I had, to spend extended time there. WA is way nicer than people give credit for. Like, WA, Perth and Fremantle, shit all over Sydney. Like, Sydney is a tip compared to Western Australia. Like, I'm a huge fan of that area.
I have heard nothing but amazing things. I've never been as well. I was supposed to go. There was a convention that I was going to host like a couple of months ago, just before everything kicked off, and then obviously that got cancelled. But everyone who has ever spoken about Perth says that Perth is a phenomenal place, and then Western Australia in general. Rusty, you're a fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard not to be a fan of places that have large expanses of free space, if you know what I'm talking about here in comparison to others.
Yeah.
You're such a bogan, Rusty. People don't know this. Rusty walks around with a nice modern haircut and red glasses, and everyone's like, wow, Rusty's such a metrosexual. He's such a new age guy. And then really deep down in heart, Rusty is like a farm boy that just wants to go surfing every day.
It's true.
More than you know. More than you know.
All right, we are getting ready for the final game of the day. It is Legacy versus PGG, and as Pete alluded to, the odds of a Legacy win here are pretty good, but PGG are looking to start some sort of fire, some sort of momentum. And Spawn, do you think that they can get it here?
Yeah, actually, I was having this chat to one of my players the other day. I think these two teams match up really awkwardly against each other. Legacy, when they play Tele especially, seem to be a team that want to put you to the grind and the slow burn. And that's genuinely like where Pentanet.gg play their best League of Legends. Like, get Biopanther on a tank, get him running around, disrupting the flow of the game. Get Parb, who was your one aggressive player, maybe alongside Pradith, actually looking for some early game plays. And I think that they follow the blueprint nearly exclusively every single game. I think that teams like Avant, Order, Direwolves upset the way PGG play the game. The teams that try and take them late actually, maybe are playing a little bit too much in PGG's wheelhouse. So I think that they're a really good shot tonight.
So then, Rusty, from Legacy's perspective, is this a situation where now is the worst time to show weakness, that you need to take this win, even though you're locked in at the top, that you don't want to show anyone that you can be felled now?
I don't think it's about not showing weakness. I think it's about showing strength, because you're coming into the playoffs and you want to be able to stamp your mark, right? You definitely don't want to lose form in week 10. You want to come in, put your best foot forwards and say, this is like realistically the last stage practice we have before we have to play again. And that's a while down the line now. So you want to be the best team you can be to keep that form.
Yep.
All right, well, let's see who can take it out for the final game of day one of Super Week. It is Legacy versus PGG. There are a lot of people in a room right now in Western Australia barracking for PGG. Let's see if they can do it. That game is coming up now with the Macca's Jam Select.
Hey guys, shout out to all the Western Australian fans. It's a bit of a while away, but I've been to your beautiful state a couple times and you've got some nice beaches and it's a wonderful place. So thanks for supporting us, guys.
Shout out to all our fans in Perth. It's been a pretty good split so far and I'm hoping to bring you guys back the dub.
Thanks to all the supporters from Western Australia.
Thank you, WA. Thank you for your support. It's super encouraging and hopefully we can bring a win for you guys.
Thanks back home to the WA fans who support Pentanet and support our team. There's been a couple of you guys who have actually reached out to me and spoken to me before, so it's really awesome. Thanks for the support, guys, and we'll hope to come home and bring home a win for you.
We've all been hoping to come out for a while. The whole world's gone on lockdown, so we couldn't make that trek, unfortunately, but we've all been looking forward to it. Hopefully at some point we'll get a chance, so thanks, guys.
And here we go for our final game of the night. Legacy taking on Pentanet.gg. You'd have to say we've left the best to last. Both these teams hold a 1-1 record when it comes to the head-to-head. So there's a lot of pride on the line here to see who can eke out an advantage. And Big Tally, the man known as James, because there's so many James in the organisation, he is back.
Known as James.
Yeah, he's back to play. 1 of 3. They can just dominate. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. They have so many Jameses that they can literally, pick a lucky hat and say, you're playing today.
Last week, Tally was in Twitch chat just before his game, and someone sent him a message, and they said, who's going to be starting today for Legacy? And his response was James with a smiley face. That's all you really need to know when it comes to Legacy, and their names, we're going to refer to him as Tally as much as we can, because there's just too many Jameses, including their coaching staff. But let's get into the draft here, Skibby.
Certainly will, as we get to see exactly what they do in this game. The comment is going to be taken away here from Pentanet.gg, so BioPanther won't get to flex their ability to play a double support just yet. And the Fresh will be banned away. So it seems to be the common trend between these two teams. Legacy do respect what Rogue can do on that champion, and will ensure he won't get a chance to play it.
Yeah, with no hesitation as well, though, you're going to see the Volley Bear locked in here by PGG. We already spoke about this when they were on Red's side. It is one of the most dangerous flex picks available to them.
Yeah.
That coupled with Set, one of the two bans that they saw go against them in their last game. Of course, they won that in 22 minutes, so really debunking the myth that you can remove some flex picks from them and that will weaken them. Maybe it empowered them, and maybe this slows them down. Who knows?
I'm curious, because last time Pabu did actually play the Volley Bear in the jungle. He went to Babip, who was playing Trundle at the time, but Pabu finished that game 5-0-9. He was an absolute monster there, so we're going to see if Babip thinks that the Olaf is going to be a better response to go into it.
So with the Bard locked in here for Legacy, first of all, Isles playing Bard is very exciting, and that's something that we're going to closely watch because he has been outstanding. The last few times we've seen the pick on him personally, had a big hand in winning that whole first split finals with the Bard pick itself. They've gone for the Karma with it in the first 3. So normally you would look at this Karma flex and be like, it's kind of so-so, like we get what it does, but we haven't picked an AD carry with it. Caitlyn's already banned, what can they do? But Topoon is such a uniquely capable player at these niche, supportive style top laners. He is the Soraka guy that it's never something that I've looked at when Legacy have locked it in and flinched. And then you've got Tally, who's also going to be there playing mid lane. If anyone's going to be able to play the supportive style Karmas, it's going to be both of these solo laners. So I'm always a big fan when Legacy in particular lock that in.
Certainly are, and as you say, typically speaking, you're looking to draft that to showcase that you're ready to flex. But pretty keen to showcase that they can play anywhere, be it top, mid, or bot lane. So still is a flex to a degree, and you can understand why Pentanet decided to lock in a support here to ensure that nothing can be taken away in this next ban phase. So as a result of that, Legacy will shift their priority to denying away some of these AD carries. They're going to remove away obviously the Caitlyn initially, then going to remove away this Ezreal, and if you start to look at the champions that Predav plays, it's a country mile after Ashe and Aphelios as to what does he next play, because it's like a game here and a game there.
Senna going to be taken off the board here as well, and Legacy were the ones who actually got rid of the Ezreal. And that to me is interesting. Usually you would see the Ezreal Bard type of matchups, but Ezreal Zoe on the other side is also known as a pretty stock standard good composition. So it seems like they're really trying to force the Zoe into this more awkward spot with a lot of the range now being removed. And they're comfortable saying that it doesn't matter that we have a Bard lane because we have the Karma, so we can kind of play any AD carry to make it work compositionally later, regardless.
Look at
more
this.
Aggression as well, Skibby.
Okay.
This does limit options.
Well, that was literally my point from before, because after that, you got Misfortune one game, Ezreal, Vayne, Senna, only a single game. Predav is the...
There you go.
He is the Aphelios guy, right? You think of him. So even despite all the nerfs, all the changes, he is going to play, and this is why Legacy was so keen, because they're going to play an AP bot lane. We haven't seen Big Man Raze play the Ziggs yet. We've seen him play Syndra, but it's going to be a bit exciting now.
I was waiting to see what Legacy would do. So the thing that people may not always know about Raze, because you don't often see it, is he is maybe one of the best mage players in bottom lane in general. There was a time where Karthus was an AD carry. He's picking up his pentakills. So we've got the Ziggs. We've got the fast push style composition available if they wanted to as well here, Legacy. Very curious to see this one play out, because it's not Karma Ziggs. It's Bard Ziggs with a Karma mid lane. So it is not maybe your stock standard type of fast-pushing bottom lane. It's a little bit different.
But it's insanely strong. There's no denying that amount of CC, and also the ability at level 6. The Tempered Fate goes out, and if you've practiced this, if you've understood the timings on that perfectly, you're talking about the Tempered Fate going down, the Mega Inferno Bomb layered on top. As soon as that expires, no chance to outplay with a flash or a disengage. That's instant damage on top of your head.
And I think it's interesting. I bring this up because I've actually played this style of composition when I was coaching AV last year. Gunkrab was a big Ziggs player, and we loved the idea of the Ziggs Karma, fast pushing for turret plates. You know, get 15 plates, be 5,000 gold ahead. Wow, you've won the game. Like, it really is that simple. There was a moment where my brain flickered, and I was like, Bard mid is the best option here, Skibby, because you just really want your Karma to go with it. And then I saw Jakey in chat, of course, a former OPL support, said the same thing. I was like, he's right, damn it. Why aren't we seeing it? But just to be clear, Bard can't play mid to save his life. So it is where you'd expect it to be. I'm looking strategically, though, from the Legacy point of view on how they're going to make this work, because they do have some limiting options there. And eventually Amundo is going to be able to just stand up to all of it.
I think it's clever from one end to say that you've now got a little bit of mobility to try and disengage away from this volley bear, but will they get the shove? Will they get the satchel charges to take down those turrets? And will they be able to free up the Karma in mid lane to assist and help out elsewhere? We're going to get to see what takes place here. It is our final game to open up this first weekend for our Super Week. A bit of fun facts for you. If Pentanet win this game, Pentanet will go into third. Legacy win, they'll finish off as first.
Oh, that was a real flash.
Was indeed.
It's a portal level 1.
There's a bunch of boys jumping on through the portal as the cleaver comes on through, and Pentanet, they mean business from the very first minute.
They just got a Bard to start E. That is the single most useless thing you'll ever see. Unless he's going to like level 1 gank mid lane with it and cheese some damage on to get back. That's a big win for PGG. And that was a confident flash coming out of Rogue there as well. Definitely a rehearsed strategy from them. But because he also has that Hex flash, the cost is actually quite low. The risk, of course, is that it's not successful. Babip's going to come bot lane level 2 gank. But because they have forced, and they're confident, first of all, with their forcing here of getting into the enemy jungle, they're going to be able to start this red buff and keep people away from the Ziggs, which is a big deal if you're looking at this composition wanting to try and get some lane control down in that bottom lane.
Certainly is, making sure that Ziggs isn't as strong as possible, making sure also that Parbu gets accelerated, because we've seen what he can do if he can look to deny you and force ganks on cooldown. So a nice little start there, a beautiful little play to start things off and to keep this bottom lane, as star-sided bottom lane at Legacy have showcased across both splits, down, and a bit of a disadvantage for the warmed-up Praetor and Rogue to try and bully.
Yeah, they've hard forced vertical jungling, so just watch Get Back as this plays out as well, because once he hits level 2, he may even consider being super aggressive. Unfortunately for him, though, Tally's pushing well, so doing the correct thing by Babip to try and keep his jungle as safe as possible while it won't be healthy. And top lane for Topoon seems like he's got the push as well. Biopanther is going to go against the grain and check perhaps the Krug camp to see how greedy Babip will be. As you can see, a ward was placed, but he doesn't know where Olaf is right now. They're going to assume he's at Raptors. So this is a forced vertical jungle start here. Oh, the hook.
He hits it again. The Hex flash on cooldown. Isles does not have that flash. He had to use it to get into that magical journey. So still going to be at a bit of a disadvantage here. Going to be chugging through those potions and then forcing the hot chocolate to come on down to give him a little bit of luck and energy to try and survive this laning phase, because despite the amount of pressure shown towards Praetor's champion pool, it is still non-Aphelios, and nerfed or not, he is one of the best at them.
And you know, if you ask a Bard player what is one of the hardest matchups to play, it would either be Nautilus or Thresh most of the time. And the reason for that is because they can hit a hook and you just die. And Relic's Shield has made that a little bit easier, has meant that Bard can survive that, and they've actually become a little bit easier as mid.
Mid is where we're looking at right now. Redemption comes down, picked up there by Get Back, because that's what Zoe can do. And looks to try and keep this Karma at bay. Drops him down to half as the drive-by comes on through with Parbu as well, showcasing that early red buff means a lot more. More aggression and more damage.
But the main point that I want to make there as well is that it has been seen as a bit of a better matchup as of late. Unless you're able to start hitting some hooks at level 1, or get a summoner spell advantage, or really force your opponents into an uncomfortable position by health advantage from trades. And this start of the game, you know, a vertical jungle forced by PGG and Invade, an E start for Bard means that he's not going to have heal till level 3, is a disaster for a Bard into a Nautilus, because it just feels bad now. You're at risk of dying constantly. You're stuck healing yourself, so Raze has to play perfectly to survive, and I mean, lucky for Legacy he is.
He is at the moment, and Babip is making his way down towards this bottom lane as Parbu goes the way to steal a few of those golems. Will pick up a little bit of gold and will not get punished, as there's nobody in the area, but Legacy did have vision with that nice little ward placed down. So, what was a wave that was getting just frozen outside of turret range. They can't look for any crazy dives just yet, but they've definitely let Legacy know that this creative duo that they've formulated here won't be able to find maximum efficiency just yet.
Yeah, and it's not going to be focused on any kind of fast push, right? It's not going to be focused on getting turret plates too quickly. There is a world where, of course, you hit like level 6 on your mid lane or your top lane, and you have double teleports as well. You can bring 5 people to bottom lane on a dime. You just need the Olaf to be able to get to the area, and that's the one key thing that PGG prevented through the early stages of this one. But once you get to 8 minutes, once you get your Rift Heralds up and available, if you're able to make that play just once, just one time, that's a whole turret gone. The Herald doesn't need to be summoned at 3 plates. It can be summoned at 5, and then you use the Ziggs W to do the rest of it for that execute instead. So it's an instant turret, basically, that can be taken. So that may be a major part here of the strategy for Legacy, and one of the ways that they'll look to pivot their comp, as it isn't going to be the Karma with the Ziggs.
Yeah, that satchel charge is so insane, and definitely a huge injection of gold that Legacy could be looking to try and utilize to good effect. But as it stands, Pensnet quite content with how this game has gone so far in the first 5 minutes. They'll be the ones to pick up the very first dragon, an Ocean Dragon at just that. As we check in with some of our other lanes, looking topside, Tapoon is definitely putting up a bit of a strong showing so far, up by about 20 CS. It's his first time playing the Camille this split. Fun fact though, what he's going into in Biopanther Mundo, 4 games, 4 wins.
Looking to get our first reset off down there in bottom lane as well. Get Back now going to threaten him. Bubble's on here. This could be big damage.
Bubble is definitely on. Babip's in so much trouble. He's going to fall on down. That's going to be the first bloods. Get Back was able to rotate topside and was able to guarantee a kill. Went that way.
Doing a big here for PGG as well. Getting the first blood. Giving it to the Mundo. Someone that definitely can receive that advantage. And one thing we don't often speak about here as well is that a lot of Camille's damage output is from Q2, doing true damage in a burst until you get like 2 items, 3 items with that base attack speed in there as well. Mundo builds health and resistances. He's not like an Ornn that just builds resistances where a Camille can walk over that eventually with true damage. It's so hard to deal with a Mundo. And now that Mundo's got first blood. So that's a Balm he's purchased. That's going to make things even more difficult for Tapoon. Wave control, just throwing cleavers at people. Like, this is a proper situation where it's not the easiest game to be the Camille. You're going to be looking to probably team fight more than anything else.
And that's what I'm curious on, right? Without the ability to have a, standard AD carry, how are they going to look to try and take down these very beefy targets in the Volibear and the Mundo as this game goes on? I mean, these are, traditionally speaking, the 2 slowest teams in the league so far, very keen to draw things out to the late game, 30 minutes onwards. If we get to a state of the game like that, when these bruisers and tanks have got those items, I get a little bit terrified as to how Legacy try and respond.
For sure. And I do want to quickly note here as well that while we're talking up Biopanther, that kill did just kind of equalize the difference in top lane. That was by no means a snowballing Mundo. When you look at the CS difference between top lane is the fact that Olaf was pathing vertical jungle. And we highlighted how there's no world that the Ziggs gets this big lead because he's been completely left on an island forcibly. It doesn't mean that PGG are winning the game from that, right? It just means that Legacy have been stopped in their advances. But they still have a big Camille. They still had a lot of topside focus. And unfortunately, that mistake giving the kill over to Biopanther does equalize a lot. So we're at an equal state.
We are indeed. Ooh, creative play there. As Rogue leads the charge, he flashes on in, but does not connect, unfortunately, with the dredge line. The Sleepy Treble Bubble was queued up and ready to follow. But Karma will get to live just another day.
Lost Chapter purchase in there as well for Raze does mean that laning phase becomes a lot easier. And not to mention, grouping up with that Karma sporadically is going to have the Athene's Unholy Grail rushed and purchased very quickly here. So starting to hit those item spikes on the side of Legacy. Does mean they could consider being a little bit more aggressive. But with your summoner spells as Teleport, Cleanse if you Tally, it's easier said than done when you've got a bunch of bruisers running you down, as you just saw.
It certainly is, and it's meaning that he's locked in this lane right now, and he's doing a fantastic job of keeping up with CS. We do know that he is very much a selfless player, willing to give up resources to assist his side lanes, make sure that both Tapoon and Raze are definitely packing a big punch. He's playing very defensive right now, knowing that this roaming gank squad that Pentiment have continue to run up and down this river. They picked up the first dragon. They've got themselves the first herald as well. and they continue to not only bully the division, but also take it as well.
Yeah, and we already spoke about what a Ziggs with Rift Herald could do, so that's a really nice take by PGG, and it's a result of the gank in mid lane, right? So they get something extra, they get the objectives, they're giving themselves a potential gold advantage or win condition somewhere, and they immediately cross to bot side in Vision. It doesn't mean that they're going to be ganking bottom lane, but it protects BioPanther a little bit more. It just helps to calm some of the really bad times that he's having down here. BioPanther's a viber. He'll be fine. He'll hang out, but it hasn't been the best experience so far against Topun, who has even itemized just to kill him.
Certainly won't be, as Rogue continues to go fishing in that mid lane. So present, actually looking to mirror that of a Bard, which hasn't been able to find the same levels of rotations. I mean, you talked about it before. We've got a stacked lineup of support players in this region, stacked across multiple different champions as well. When even the Brom earlier today by Ayla, playing as if it was a Bard, you know, just constantly visiting mid lane, making it so damn hard.
Sorry, they just can't hit Tally. Like we've just seen a conveyor belt of people trying to gank this, and it hasn't stopped. Like if they get the kill,
minutes.
Yeah, like if they get this, they could get a turret in mid lane, and it's huge. It opens the game. But my god, Tally's just casually sidestepping for minutes on end.
They're like, guys, he has no flash, he has no mobility. We can get him, and yeah, he's just evading it, making sure that he won't be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And
Rogue just can't hit it. Oh my god,
Rogue just continues to gank.
It's good. Like the pressure's good. He's just not hitting a single hook, because that was a real flash. Definitely Bard ult.
There it is. Will we see the combo take place here? Nope, not just yet. Mega Inferno Bomb will be held on to for just a little bit longer. They tried to buffer that satchel charge during top of the dredge line away. It won't connect. There's some AoE pad damage to go across. Big shields come across. 2 TPs trying to join into this fight right now. Mundo versus Camille. Who's the Hextech Ultimatum going to connect with right now? We're going to wait for that first kill that could favor either team to open up this skirmish. But it's going to be a trade of running back up and down this lane. A few summoners will be burnt. Multiple legacy members are low, as could be said the same here for Pensnet, but both teams not too keen to really pull the pin to say, let's go now.
Yeah, no full committal, just a lot of poking back and forth. We'll throw cleavers, we'll use Camille's sweep, we'll throw Karma spells out as well. The major committal spells was a Bard ultimate more than anything else. PGG choose to disengage as Babip advances, but also he's a fragile champion right now with that warrior build on Olaf, so they pay their due respects, and everyone's just able to walk this out. No advantages gained. We're looking at how teams will reset now, because the only objective besides turrets is on the bottom side of the rift, and Babip has stayed for a long time on top side. But BioPanther also teleported, and he didn't reset to the correct side of the map on time either, as he goes to push a wave in. Very curious stuff here. I think this is just Legacy's Drake, and PGG are going to choose to summon Herald as a trade instead.
That's what he could do as we hit that 13-minute mark, and the gold is dead even. Nothing separating these two teams, and whilst Pensnet will get the first blood, Legacy have achieved some very strong CS advantages to match that. And as we turn our attention towards the mid lane again, it continues to be this man looking to abuse him and bully him out, as he will continue to hunt out not only Vision, but potential targets to hit with that hook. That'll be the first dragon going the way here for Legacy. And with that knowledge in mind, we know that we are now playing for a Cloud Soul, as that Herald will be summoned. And we'll look to also achieve Pensnet their first turret too.
Yeah, 610 gold into the pockets of Praetors is no small feat by any means as well with that first turret. Of course, you can see another turret taken on bot side, so realistically, still trading here is Legacy. But a bit of extra gold into the pockets of an Aphelios is a very big deal. You know, one thing that we are missing in this game, especially in that last fight, was damage. Because the Aphelios is a couple items away from really finding the amount of years worth of experience he has. And the Zoe was sitting on current component items, right? Doesn't have the Ludens, doesn't have the full spikes. And we don't have an ADC on the other side of the rift either. So a bit of limited damage across the board meant that that was a pretty wild skirmish of just small trades and small amounts of damage. Things start to ramp up with every passing minute now, though, as we hit those item spikes on the carries.
We certainly do, and one of the most important power spikes has to be the Infinity Edge here on the Aphelios. We've seen, obviously, Aphelios have been played so much in recent times, received the nerf bat across multiple patches as well. But you get the Infinity Edge, that's the first step. You take your 2-step, you get that little dance on, and you find yourself with a Runar's Hurricane and then the world is your oyster. That's when Predator is really going to start to pop off. And you have to say that a lot of this comes down to just all the investment of him being shown not only farm, but just picking up the plates as well. And that's demonstrated right here. You know, very close in terms of CS, but up by nearly 1,000.
And, you know, we are having a backwards game here for the support player of PGG. He is so far behind in experience, and he's spent so much time walking between his lane, where Predator's farming solo, and mid lane, where Get Back wants to be protected and perhaps they want to gank and get some kill threat on. And he's done nothing with it, right? He's missed about 5 hooks in a row, hasn't been having the best go of it mechanically, and that's come back to hurt him so much that he is behind everyone in experience, including a Bard, right, who just spends more time roaming than laning a lot of the time in League of Legends. Not a great time to be this Nautilus, and something that we'll always speak about with Nord, and you can see it now, is he has no health. He has 1,000 HP. He is so reliant on hitting Aftershock and trading in a short window, especially when behind. But that's now exacerbated by the deficit that he's found himself in experience.
It's going to take a bit more time to try and patch up that deficit to get that stone plate, which will buff up his HP and ensure that he's a little bit more durable in these fights to then try and join into the fray of things there with Pabu. And it's interesting here from Legacy. I think it's a good restraint. They're not buying into the hype that, yes, we can summon a Herald and use the satchel charge to, you know, evaporate one turret in a blink of an eye. We're quite content just to sacrifice that again, ensure that Pensnet, sure, have another Herald, do what you want with it. We're quite keen to stick to these side lanes and ensure that Camille hits these breakpoints. There's the Trinity Force, now working for that second item and ensuring that maybe the Camille can try to take over the game in the side lane pressure.
Yeah, this game definitely does reflect a lot around Topboon and his capabilities in that split pushing. Trinity Force, obviously a big build item here for a Camille. It's also a big dueling and split pushing build. If he was looking to just 1v1 the Mundo, you wouldn't be too surprised to see the Ravenous Hydra come out of him, even as a potential first item, just to deal with Biopanther's constant annoyance and poking of your health. So I like this item choice a little bit more, as it's like a hybrid between I can split push, but if we team fight, I am still one-tapping Praedyth right now. So definitely a dangerous member. Has the Karma as well to empower him. So one of the major core components of this comp is, you would almost say, a lack of physical damage, but not with Topboon ahead.
Not on top of the head as he looks to disengage away. Will flash out of that Stormbringer and the beefy boys will get angry and get big, but won't be able to go large and pick up a kill on the big man himself in Topboon. He'll stay safe for the meantime, forced to burn that flash to safety, forced to continue to find that CS advantage.
Bubble just a little bit wide there, of course, has some reinforcements on his team coming from the bottom side. River Rays also gone towards the Archangel's build here, Skimmy. So you could go for the Ludens if you're looking to maximize your damage output. But it seems like, again, not going to be getting priority towards these blue buffs or anything of the like. May just want to be stacking up and sustaining himself for as long as he possibly can in lane. Does mean that he has a lot more sticking power if it comes to it.
Sticking power is what they'll be hoping for. As now, Pentenet summon their second Herald of the game. Won't be topside this time, it will be mids. But Temper Fate is fantastic at denying that. So, a big reason, once again, why Legacy did not need to stress too much. Buys more time for Topboon to continue to do what he does best topside. And keep an eye on that minimap right now, because they are going to go back for the second attempt and say, you burnt your flash. Not going to be too easy this time. Hexagon Amendment goes on out. Teleports are coming on through to try and buy some time. He's going to fall on down. Drowsy connects this time. Get Back has his number. It's going to be Pabu that picks up the kill. So the Beefy Boys have got a kill to their name. One apiece so far. Bard rocks up. Bard takes down the Mundo. And with the numbers advantage, Legacy might look for more.
Yeah, good Bard play in general, and the immediate translation from mid to top lane, recognizing the state of the game. Knowing that Topboon's a key member of the team and that Praedyth is never going to be nearby if a fight were to happen. They commit themselves to the cause. They're able to net themselves the kills. The numbers advantage proves too great. And that's the one advantage that they find from that one, realistically, is it is still just going to be the turret trade. Still going to be a lot more money going to the pockets of Praedyth. And this is a scary thing for Legacy. They need to be able to contend with this Aphelios at some stage. And he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But they are still playing well as a team, Legacy, and that's a big deal.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, with that item, with that weapon combination, you see the Chakrams there. He matches that of a Ziggs, right? Both cheating Temper to destroy those turrets as quickly as can be. And the fact that they can look to try and come out even in that situation is is a testament to what these champions can offer. So 19 minutes on the clock, and another Dragon goes the way here for Legacy, but still nothing separating these two teams. 31k locked in place. Still waiting for time to come on through to unlock the true potential of these two team comps. Praetor will find the first of those big smiling moments if you're a Pentanet fan. He's got their Runans there. Tally has now got himself the Ardent Center with the Athenes to buff up the likes of a Camille, Olaf, and the rest. So there are some moments to cheer and celebrate, but no doubt waiting for Raze to continue to farm up from afar.
And I see that comment as well from our producer right in the chat being like, why does Aphelios push as fast? And it's partly true. He did still push a little bit slower, and the reason I bring this up is what that means, right? There's now been a full wave of priority for Raze in mid lane with Isles, which means there was a full wave of vision control brought by Legacy that the Aphelios is not doing. He's not contributing to. He's actually been avoiding his team. So the type of game plan that we're actually getting here between both of them is that Legacy are playing as a group, they're getting their vision control as a group, and that's slowed down a lot of control that PGG had. They've just spent the past minute getting it back. Where on PGG's side, it's giving all of the money, all of the resources and experience to Praetor specifically while the team suffers elsewhere. And at a certain point, that can be a very big strategic play because Aphelios is Aphelios. And if you play the team fight well, that may just be it. But Legacy is still well equipped to deal with it as a team, and walking into Legacy with that vision control is risky.
Certainly is. It's not going to be without Getback continuing to showcase what he can do when he's got the blue buff and has all the pressure in the world when it comes to mid lane, just chucking out those cooldowns on repeat. Stoneplay is there for Rogue, so what was a very squishy Nautilus will be buffed up a little bit more if the Aftershock as well as that connects. Both supports really trying to determine who can continue to control this mid lane. As there goes the stun, as that Cosmic Vinings leads the charge for Legacy to pull the trigger and say, let's go for this one. Ragnarok had to be burnt as Babbitt was keen to try and dive onto that turret and not be vulnerable to any of the CC that could have come their way. But he will be able to disengage, and that's in part to those items we highlight.
Yeah, forces him to go back to base. I don't know if they'll be able to get anything too much from that. However, there was 2 ultimates used in the trade, and there was no actual summoner spells used by Rogue. So this isn't a case of come back later and you know, recognize the fact that he's flashed in that one, look to pick him up. One other interaction that I think is super favorable here actually for Olaf, especially through those mid-game skirmishes, is that Nautilus can't CC you. And so if you've picked the Nautilus in particular, he's not going to be able to get that Aftershock proc off. So he's very lucky to have the Stoneplate as his rushed item, keeps him alive. Very well could have.
He's just dancing, he's filling himself. You know, he's muted chat, now he's muted emotes.
You might be wondering, was that necessary? Here's a better question. Does it matter?
He knew the camera was on him, didn't he?
The camera's always on Raze, Skitty. You got to get in proximity of Raze to dance. That's the rules here.
He's followed the memo here as to what our observers are keen to observe and see as we continue to find what Tapoon can achieve on this map, as much as we highlight what Getback can do and what Praetor is looking to achieve. Legacy are still very content in just farming up, controlling vision, ensuring that this Camille becomes bigger and bigger. And I mean, look at the scoreboard. That's all you need to really see to sort of showcase what that means in sort of tangible terms. Up by about 70 CS now. Well on his way to getting that second item spike. And I'm pretty sure with that reset, we might just get to see it. Look at that. 1,500 gold.
Yeah. Really nice chicken control ward place there as well by Tapoon. Praetor needs to clear that one right now, or he's going to recall in vision of it. We'll see. He's a smarter man than you'd think. That was a fake recall. He always knew. Nah, he's going to be able to clear that one out. And that was the only thing really keeping Tapoon safe in that push. So you can see the second that people disappear in a fog of war from PGG's side, he has to back away. A lot of the game's going to be playing around Tally being the strong-sided side laner if he's ever there. You know, right now with the Unsealed Spellbook, not going to have teleport to join the team either. Tapoon's going to be on a dangerous island where PGG may even choose to put some focus towards him. He's at risk of dying if they do. But that does mean Legacy prosper elsewhere on the map. And with 20 seconds till Drake, line assignments are correct.
Could be quite nice if they can prosper, because the only two that are ahead right now would be Tapoon as well as Praetor. Everybody else is locked in at the same amount of gold, hence why the team as a whole are pretty much dead even. Tapoon going to look to try and continue his pressure up top side, as both bruisers will have that teleport advantage available to them, so they need to try and join their 4v4. As a soul point is now being threatened here by Legacy, playing for that Cloud Soul. I'm sure the mobility on the likes of a whole host of these champions, quite honestly, wouldn't go astray.
We're going to kick this one off. It was a potential Cloud Soul point here for the side of Legacy if they're able to lock down this Drake, but no priority really given towards it. You can actually see most of them on the top side of the Rift. Ray's just hanging out to maybe pressure Pabu into hitting his smites correctly. And he doesn't, but it doesn't matter, apparently. That was really incorrect.
Damn, man.
But he gets it.
71 HP. He called it close, I'll tell you that much. Red buff will now be stolen away, as Legacy look to say. You can get one buff, but we'll take that instead. And it does seem kind of traditional here, as we hit the 25-minute mark, the slowest game of the evening so far, with a lot of these games being completed, or near enough decided as to what the outcome would look like by this point in the game.
Yeah, predictable with these two teams, though, isn't it, Skimmy? So the thing is, like, you mentioned this earlier as well, Legacy, one of the slowest teams now in the league. PGG have been notoriously slow when they're facing good opponents. Dials are the same. And when you actually get the battle of the top teams, a lot of them tend to default to being slow against each other, with the one major exception of the Chiefs in general. And Order definitely are a fast-paced team as well. You know, you get Pentanet.gg against Legacy, you get an even game state, both teams scaling decently well. In different ways, of course, but still scaling decently well. I think both are content playing the game out as it is. Looking at Soul Point probably as a big breaker here. Maybe the next Drake, I would say, is a point where we'd start fighting, getting close to those 2 items, 3 item points.
We've seen a fair few variations on this Mundo build. It's always been you need to get the Sunfire Cape. Spirit Visage is up for debate. Obviously going to find a bit of value here into the AP that they're going into. And from that point onwards, he showed a bit of fluctuation as to, well, do I go for a Warmogs, a Randuin's, a Stone Plate, or for a Fallen Male? Well, with that Bramble Vest, that would suggest it's probably the latter. As the Ravenous Hydra comes on through here for Tapoon. And more turrets continue to fall on down as Legacy take a small little lead, opening up these win conditions for them to potentially threaten some cheeky plays with teleports and inhibitor options.
You know, the CS difference has kind of stagnated between these top laners. So while you're mentioning the items being picked up by Biopanther, fully expect that will be the Thornmail next. Spirit Visage, while it's not going to do much against a Camille, has increased healing effects on it, which goes nicely against the Executioner's Calling that he's picked up. We are just kind of slowing the game down through these item choices, making it harder for our opponents to get things done respectfully for both teams. He's always going to do that, as Isles cops a big one.
Yeah, very lucky to have a minion wave there to protect him from those skill shots that were being threatened. Pentanet were very keen there with 4 members in the mid lane, and now 3 items completed on this Aphelios. Everyone knows the meme, 200 years, nerf or not. Will we get to see a fight here today? The combo's already got on through. The bot lane duo have done what they can to try and prevent Pentanet from engaging. And it's been quite successful because now Rogue is the target. And apparently Nautilus can now jungle as he's going to look to try and start off those Raptors there, Rusty.
Yeah, his attempt to hook the wall finds a Raptor camp, but nevertheless, he's going to be fine. Legacy recognize that one. Exhaust being cycled. Big damage, actually, here.
Massive damage, and that's even before the Moonlight Vigil with this combination. Flamethrower putting in work so far, but no lifesteal. And Praetor is forced to back away. They're going to lose another turret now, 4-2. Big game when it comes to the brains of macro, map understanding, and what you're willing to sacrifice.
And that mid turret basically broken there for free. Just nice positioning from Legacy. Number advantage proves to be a little bit too overwhelming. Toppin really just there to threaten the dive afterwards. So well played it was from Legacy in general. And that was capitalizing on PGG being the aggressors, being the ones looking for that mid lane structure themselves first. So brilliant turnaround. Good use of the spells that they have, right? Ziggs with wave clear in general makes things obnoxious to deal with. Then you've got the Bard ultimate to follow up, so it keeps them away from structures. Now a lot more control over Summoner's Rift for Legacy. Something that should continue for them for quite some time now. Looking at the next Drake, I do think is a significant thing. Both teams don't necessarily need to contest this one, though. I don't think it's the type of Drake with importance to the point where you force a 5v5. But I do think a lot of potential fights or picks come from this. Now's as good a time as any once we cycle back to those items.
It's getting tense. 30 seconds on the next dragon. Both teams fighting for that soul point potential. Both sitting on 2 apiece. You always know that if Rogue is in the area, he is looking for that dredge line. He is looking for that key target to connect with, because the follow-up from the rest of his team to ensure that that pick, that target falls on down is huge. Keep your eyes on this mini-map, because as much as this 4v4 looks nice, Tapoon continues to keep this Mundo in check, and based on the amount of pressure they found on this turret, they're working towards that inhibitor. Now, here comes the Tempered Fate. They've locked in place the Aphelios. This is big. Pago on the flank, looking for that damage. Praetor with the weapons, the lifesteal, the damage, the ability to try and delete from afar, but he needs to be close range because Chakrams and a dagger don't do too much when the fight runs away from you. Biopanther just far too tanky, far too durable. He's able to stay fully topped on up and find that kill. But Tapoon trying to make a late little play on this one. He tried to go for the Hextech ultimatum, but it gets cancelled because that's a beautiful zone use there from Get Back. And now he's on the great run away as he tries to disengage from what was a collapse that Pentanet were threatening.
That was a Spell Thief zone use as well, picked up by Get Back. As Biopanther might be in a little bit of trouble here, actually.
This is huge. Okay. Biopanther does not have any ultimate, does not have a flash. The cleaver will not connect, and the red buff says, okay, I'll go back to home. And Tapoon, when it looked like he was going to get 5-man collapsed, he actually takes him down.
You can see the Drake was going to be the primary focus here of PGG. Actually finds himself in that isolated 1v1. And things going pretty much as you would expect, of course, if that fight were to happen. No turrets to keep Mundo alive at all. Just going to go down near the red buff. Well played from Tapoon. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't too well played just prior to that one, looking to use the ultimate on the Get Back, who had the Spell Thief Zonias. And because there is no Zonias on the other side, I have to presume it was the stopwatch from Tally that he picked up. Or he was lucky enough to find it from a minion. As Legacy are going to kick off this Baron.
Okay. Well, the Mega Inferno Bomb tried to steal away that dragon. It was not successful. Penta are now sitting themselves on a Cloud Soul point, but Legacy say, well, we want to do something. We feel that we are strong enough now to force that fight, and we welcome your invitation into this Baron pit. The Tempered Fate will go wides. That affords a Legacy to disengage from this objective. So the opportunity has passed. We might go back to playing ping pong.
They're forcing PGG around the map at the very least. One thing the Legacy had going for them was a little bit of wave control. They saw an opportunity. They had a crack. Didn't get them what they were after, but it doesn't matter too much. You've got a pretty free disengage here as well. Get some more items. Things are going to continue on the same path as it has been. A lot of this game still revolving around their top laner here, Legacy, where PGG have an AD carry that needs to do most of the work. Now, his build has been delayed by about an item, as he has gone for the Phantom Dancer third. So wants to survive the burst of Legacy, which is fine. But that fourth item, as we speak about it, Skimmy, pops up, and Death's Dance, now he's nearly impossible to take down.
And I mean, it's such a big thing because you're looking at 32 minutes in this game. He's got nearly 400 CS, well above the 10 CS per minute mark that you look to achieve. And he's going to be such a juicy target for Legacy to put their eyes on towards. He's got a 700 gold bounty as well. You know that he is the crux of what Pentanet have invested into. If they can catch him out with a Tempered Fate and the wrong weapon setup, this could be a game that, whilst it's lasted a while, could end a little bit abruptly.
Yeah, I mean, the question we have to ask here is how big of a front line is it on PGG's side? Because you've put all of your eggs into the Praetor basket. You've sacrificed nearly everywhere to make sure that he gets ahead. At 32 minutes in the game,
400.
He has 400 CS. He crests over that mark. I mean, he's a monster right now. To have no kill involvements and to have a 700 gold bounty is the sign of how well he has managed to farm through this game. And he can 1v9 a team fight. But that does mean that Biopanther, ticking level 16 is a massive breakpoint. That's maybe the most important breakpoint for a team fight to zone away the enemy carries. But they have a lot of damage that can cover some distances from someone like a Ziggs. So there's still kill threat.
I need to try and zone away this Camille more than anything, right? The ability to lock him in place and try and, one-tap him. Could be a little bit scary. These are the two major threats that you're highlighting right now. You've got the Rabadon's cap here on the Karma as well, so that shield is going to pack a punch as well. Those shields are going to give so much mitigation to try and prevent the one-shot potential that will come between the Zoe and the Aphelios, as we check in with this gold count right now. And I mean, that's what it looks like. If you can see us effectively, you get yourself a bit of a 4K buffer.
It's insane how much he is farmed. And I guess this now becomes a game of two players, right? There's definitely still supports there, one of the major differences is that some of the supports are directly useful for both of those respective players. So you've got a Karma, right, that's going to give the Ardent Sensor, Athene's healing, constant shields over to someone like Topoon in that theoretical front to back. If we're assuming that a Camille and an Aphelios are hitting each other in the 5v5, oh, we'll hold that actually, Jesus.
Yeah, there's going to be a 4-man collapse on top side by Panther. Despite how tanky he is, will the ultimate be enough to ensure that he can live? He doesn't have flash, he doesn't have any teammates in the area. He's going to buy so much time because he is a beefy boy. Look at it! Redemption will come on down because supports can do damage. And eventually the kill will go across, but it bought so much time for Pentanet just to push and take 2 turrets mid.
Legacy are just padding their stats on an unkillable top lane, and they were like, we'll get the quick frag, we'll get ourselves out, she'll be right. 17 hours later, Mundo's ultimate runs out, and they're like, alright, we've finally got it. And so the thing is, there's no healing cut there, really, for anyone other than Topoon, so that was kind of comical once the fight had started. And PGG just break 2 structures in mid lane at the same time. So who won that, Skibby? I think it's BGG.
I certainly do, because that fight topside definitely felt like a bit of a SpongeBob skit there. We're taking, what, 17 hours, as you said, for sure. It was interesting, to say the least, and it looks like we're not going to be getting any healing cut coming from the other 4 anytime soon, as we now see the Rabadon's cap being put into the making. Now, a full 5v5 will take place here. The Dragon is there for the taking. The Soul Point is here for Pentanet to acquire. Stormbringer used to disengage away, but look at that! The one shot on the jungler! The volley bear is gone. Hextech is huge. And the shutdown comes across there onto the Aphelios. That's 1,000 gold into the pockets of Babip. A double kill for Topoon. Can the big man himself live to tell the tale? There's healing cut to take him down this time. It might not be 17 hours. This time it might be 7. But this time at the late game here, Rusty, they've done the damage.
Yeah, they're just going to be able to end the game. And the thing is, Get Back definitely in trouble. He's just going to die here sooner or later. You would expect to the onslaught of Topoon. Game's just definitely done here with how much time they have. If minions arrive, that's the only problem they're running into right now, Skibby, is can they get minions in time? Or will PGG respawn? I believe they've done it here. Protect
we
the
asked
minion.
the question, would it be the Topoon show or would it be the Aphelios show? And as soon as he rocked up to that fight, it was just an obliteration. We waited 36 minutes and one fight decided it. Camilla's insane, Aphelios is nerfed, and Legacy will not fall victim here in our first Super Week.
And the thing is, I encourage everyone to watch that last team fight again, because we can talk all day about how much damage Topoon did and how big the Camille was, but you're looking at who was the carry on the other side for PGG, and that was definitely the Aphelios. But that last fight, he didn't do a thing. He spent so much time just copping damage from Raze. Raze silently hard carried the last team fight by keeping him out of it, and basically 100-0 Praetor. So massive work there coming out of the whole team of Legacy. You know, not just the big Camille.
There you go. It's going to be our final game here. 6 games on the go as we have another 6 to look forward to tomorrow. But we're going to welcome back the boys, both Nick and Spawn. And Spawn, I mean, we're always so keen to see these AD carries farm up a storm. 10 CS per minute. I mean, the guy was essentially at 500 CS per minute.
Yeah, he was a very fed boy. However, as Rusty pointed out, you can't purchase range in the game of League of Legends, and Zig just keeps him away from the fight. And can I just say, I was the soul of courtesy today. We brought another GM onto the show. I was nice. I treated him well. And how does he repay me? By giving Legacy first seed. Like, Pete Carrawley, I don't know how you are going to sleep tonight, mate. That's despicable behaviour.
I think he's going to sleep in a city where he can wander wherever he wants.
Oh,
so that
yeah,
seems like
great.
he's
Brilliant. Wander around third.
He's the real winner. So well done to Legacy for lucking the top seed. And PGG, I mean, it felt like they were making Legacy work for it there for a while. But then when it went bad fast. So congratulations to Legacy for that. Congratulations to all of us for making it through the first day of Super Week. A big upset there, obviously, at the top. And then some more predictable outcomes as we sort of go down the ladder. But the teams are sorting out their rankings. Let's take a look at the results from today after this first day of Super Week as we head into day 2. And even I mean, if this was a normal day, that left chart, we'd take that.
What happened, Chiefs? How
Come
did you
on,
ruin it for the
Chiefs.
left teams
Left
everywhere?
side.
ridiculous. Mammoth beating Chiefs for game number 1. It was then Direwolves taking down Gravitas, Order taking down Mammoth, Pentanet.gg taking down Gravitas, Order taking down Avant, and Legacy taking down PGG there at the end. But hopefully all those people at that PGG watch party had themselves a fun night. It certainly looked like it, and there is more fun in store for us tomorrow as we have another 6 games lined up for you. Let's take a look at what we'll be seeing tomorrow, because there's quite a bit on the line here when it comes to the matchups. We've got Gravitas versus Mammoth for game 1, but then it's Order taking on Direwolves, Legacy versus Avant, Chiefs and Direwolves, AV versus Pentanet, and Chiefs and Legacy. So there's still a lot that can happen tomorrow. Gentlemen,
So-
what game are we excited about? Rusty?
Based on this, AV don't make playoffs because left side wins. AV need to win too.
It's true.
So just throwing that one out there.
Based off left side math.
Yeah. Because we've hit a point in the OPL where we're only really caring about who's on the left side, not
It's actually the only
actual
thing.
analysis.
Yeah, it's the only part of the sport that I care about.
When you also
It's the
have a look at the
left-hand side of the
games,
graphic.
when you also
Yeah.
have a look at the games, I believe Chiefs need to 2-0 and have Pentanet lose their game to Avant
Yes.
Gaming if Chiefs want to
Ooh.
sneak back into the top 3. When you have a look at the fact that they are left side both, but one is against Legacy and the other against Direwolves, that is a very tough best of 2 tomorrow for the Chiefs to be able to get back into the top 3. And I think Pentanet also looking better than Avant Gaming right now. So I'm going to be a big call, but I'm happy to leave the ladder exactly where it is right now. I think that's what we're going to see tomorrow.
All right, well, there's only one way to find out, and that is to come along tomorrow to Super Week. I mean, obviously, you could find out by not coming along and then just checking the website. Like
yep.
the next day, yeah.
Well,
That would
no,
be-
need to leave it a couple of days.
Yeah, right, yeah. And who knows, maybe we'll just throw in some fake results there, so that means you do actually need to turn up. But we would love to have you here for another 6 games tomorrow. A massive thank you to our sponsors, EPOS, Neosurf, and Macca's, and EPOS, of course, running that competition. You've got another day to enter that one. It is the Out of This World OPL Gaming Experience competition. You just need to reply to the tweet on our @OPL Twitter page with your most Out of This World OPL gaming memory, your favorite moment in OPL history. We will pick the winners live on air. I believe it's next week, and those 2 winners will take themselves each home a GSP 600 headset. Thank you to EPOS, and a massive thank you to the production team and to the casters, Spawn and Rusty. I feel like it's been I've been speaking to you guys the most, but Skimmy, a phenomenal job today, and just right hand if you're happy.
God.
I guess that counts.
God.
I don't like what's happening on the show at the moment, okay? I just feel like dabbing had its moment and we need to let it pass. Whoever that was at the PGG party has started something.
Did you
Have we
see
thanked
that
Bagman
the account
again?
has happened? Bagman's ego is an account, Rusty.
Oh, already. Let's
Yeah.
go.
It's already got tweets.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
OPL Baghead Ego at OPL Baghead Ego. Check it out.
So there you go. Baghead lives on. And by next week, if we don't have some kind of art, I'm going to be really disappointed about that. We will see you tomorrow for more League of Legends. There's no MPL tonight because it is obviously Super Weekend. We're getting ready for tomorrow as well. But we hope you all have an enjoyable evening. We hope you all stay safe. And we'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. AEST for more of this. We're out.
And that's a beautiful hemo play onto multiple members. A shutdown all importantly onto Chippies. He gets himself a double kill.
Triple kills. Can we get a quadra? Yes, we can. It's Raze doing what he does. The team fight king.
You can only use these ingredients, and you can only cook with this thing. Hey,
I'm excited.
It's like a fairy pooped in a cup. Big shout out to the little legends that we created. So we've got the Fury Horn there, and then this is the mystery egg the graphics operator was making instead of that last graphic.
Guys, I want Twitch chat to do it with me. Make sure your chest hits the ground like this. That's 4. And don't be afraid to go a little bit faster or a little bit slower. Just do what's comfortable, okay?
My long-term boyfriend and I broke up over a month ago. How do I start dating again? Rusty, you're lonely.
Finally, your ideal Valentine's Day date.
PC Vaughn, Duo Q, League of Legends.
Oh, very nice.
I think Bombers started them off quite well, but they just got outplayed on like a micro level, and I am really good at this.
Send this to Frost Urine.
So who here wants a really mediocre painting of Gragas? It is a time for celebration, but it is also a time for mourning. Let's start off with a eulogy.
5 Drakes to the name, a Baron and everything else.
In a counter matchup.
That's the carbon response. That's the legacy win right there.
Is anyone wearing pants?
Oh, you're wearing pants. Some shorty boys. Look at that.
What has this become?
There's no AFL, there's no NRL, but there is always OPL. Come rain, hail or shine,